Hey everyone, welcome to week 5 of the CSA. I hope you all survived the heat wave. I know our family is still recovering, and I have a little guest, not speaker because he's not going to be speaking, but a little guest for the show today. This is baby Finn. You might have noticed my belly growing throughout the videos last season, and he's finally here. So he's going to be with us through the video. But let's jump into our box. And just a huge shout out to the farmers for bringing all of us these items on time, and that they all still look beautiful. I can't imagine having been out there gathering all the food and taking care of the farm during that heat wave. So just a huge shout out for you guys continuing to bring us really delicious, nutritious food. Really, really appreciate it. We have some fun new items this week and a couple that we've been seeing before. So let's just get those out of the way. We have some more garlic scapes. You can keep them in a tightly sealed closed bag or do the bouquet in a jar technique. These are going to last 2 to 3 weeks. So if you don't feel like you can get to them this week, no worries, can hang on to them. And your lettuces for the week, we have some really nice frisee and then the head lettuce. You're going to want to put those in a plastic bag. Don't pre-wash them until you're about to use them, and wrap them with a paper towel. And both Ray and I were noting that we were talking and that we were saying to each other, or that our lettuces, I pushed mine past 5 days. Mine that I had that was wrapped lasted for about almost a week. I had one of the heads that I didn't get to, but it still was good in the fridge. Again, you can always check for leaves that are starting to go bad and remove them from the outside, and can help if you're not getting to them. But this is definitely salad weather if we've ever had it, so hopefully you'll get to those in the first couple of days. The frisee can really hold up to a warm vinaigrette or dressing, and kind of helps to break down or goes well. Frisee is a little bit more bitey, kind of like how arugula has a little bit more of a kick to it. So it's a really good one to mix with your other lettuce or into something else. But some people love that stronger flavor of lettuce to eat straight. Do whatever feels good to you. We have some Pink Beauty radishes. And these Pink Beauty radishes can just trim off the ends. And if you notice if any of yours have any cracks on them, that is just from the process of them washing the radishes and dunking them in water, and then them absorbing up the water and just kind of getting big from that and developing a slight crack. They're still good, still great. Maybe use those ones first if you're kind of using them throughout the weeks. And then the greens, again, you can keep the greens and use those. You can saute them up. You can use them raw. Radish greens, though, if you notice when you feel them, kind of have almost like that prickly, hairy texture to them. And so sometimes are a little bit more nice to eat cooked up. And you can cook those up and replace them like you would in dishes that have spinach. If you ever made sag before or do curries, they would go great into that. And those the actual radishes are going to last, for up to a week, and the greens are going to be, a little bit sooner than that. We have our first bunch of some collard greens, and the collard greens, some of the things, because of the extreme heat, are a little bit different than what they normally would be. The collard greens, the taste of them from the heat is going to be a little bit more collard greeny, or a little bit more bitey. I just was trying it when I was taking out the box. I would still eat these raw and use them as a wrap. But you can do like a quick braising if you're trying to avoid the stove. You can also use them like you would the massage kale salad. Or you can use them for just doing like a quick braising on the stovetop if you dare. I've been cooking some things in our garage on a camp stove, and that's been working out well to try to keep the heat down in the house. If you do ever use collard greens for a wrap, the technique that I like to use is just getting a knife and just doing a little, like halfway up to like the thickest part of the stem, just doing a nice little V cut to cut out the most woody part of the wrap. So then you just kind of have this little split in there. And then when you go to make your wrap, I just fold it over to close up that seal. And then I spread in like my hummus, add in whatever little goodies you want to in the wrap, and then tuck over those that split side tuck them over first and then roll it to the inside, and then can use them as the nice wrap. But that's the technique that I like to use to trim out the middle piece and keep this as the most whole that I can to use as a wrap. With the collards, they're going to hold up in your refrigerator in a tightly sealed bag for about 5 days. They just start to get wilty after that. They're still fine to eat past then, but they don't get like it's like soggy and weird like the salads can, but they just start to get wilty. We have some kohlrabi, beautiful kohlrabi, that purple. I love it when you see this purple occurring in nature. And we also have in that purple family the beets. And I'm going to cut off the roots of these and keep those stored in a bag together. And then I'm going to combine the greens and chop those up and store those together. And the greens I'm going to be using for breakfast greens, and we'll be just kind of lightly sautéing them. Or you can add them to a lot of different dishes. You can do beet greens raw if you want to make a really big salad. You can add that in with the salad mixes you got. You can also do that with the kohlrabi greens. Kohlrabi is it's not as light as the beet greens, and it's not quite as as thick as like the collard greens, somewhere in the middle. So I tend to like to cook my collard greens, my kohlrabi greens over doing them raw. But you can try it out a couple of different ways. The kohlrabi bulbs are going to last for 1 to 2 weeks, and the beet bulbs are going to last for 2 to 3 weeks. So again, if you don't feel like turning on the stove, you can push those out until we get a little bit cooler weather, fingers crossed. And the kohlrabi, if you've never really worked with the kohlrabi before, you can grate it like on a cheese grater. I've done that before and made like a slaw, and so you can do that as a no-cook method. You can also make them into fritters, or you can kind of cut them into wedges and fry them like you would any other root vegetable, or roast them. Again, though, I don't know too many people who are wanting to turn on their oven right now. But those are some different things that as you get these throughout the upcoming weeks, ideas that you can do with them. Beets you can also shred and do raw. You can cut them up and pickle them. You can do a lot of different things. I like to, if you thinly slice them, I find that even without quick pickling them, just thinly sliced can taste nice on a salad. Or again, shredding them on a cheese grater is a good way to get them nice and small. You also got a head of broccoli, and the broccoli was one of the things that also took a little bit of a hit in the heat, and that you'll just see by the little tiny florets on the top that are starting to open and starting to become a little bit more yellow rather than that really deep green. And that's just because of the heat pushing them into blooming, rather than having them stay. The flavor's still excellent, the nutrition is still excellent. Just you want to use this though in the next couple of days. Broccoli doesn't store super great in the refrigerator, and what you're going to want to do for storing that broccoli is wrapping it in a damp paper towel and just placing it like in your crisper drawer, and again using in the next couple of days. So if you see just some of the tiny little bits of the florets starting to open up and get a little bit more yellow rather than being that really deep green, that's just because of the heat. They're still excellent and still great. Last on our list are some really excellent fun sugar snap peas, a perfect cool weather treat. Can eat them raw as is. Sometimes when I bite into the first bit, sometimes that the stringy piece can come off, and so I like to just peel that sometimes if I bite into it and it's kind of there. I'll peel that off and then just snap the end and have a lovely treat for dipping in hummus or adding onto a salad. You can also cook them, dice them up, and add them into I like doing like sesame noodles, like a cold sesame noodle salad with chopped up sugar snap peas in it is super delicious. If you do cook them, they don't need that long. If you ever are doing a stir fry with them, I always save them as the last thing to throw into the dish, and just kind of let it touch the heat a little bit, get the seasoning on it, and then can pull it, and then that way they still have that snap to it. So those are your items. A few last notes. If any of your lettuces, when you get them, are looking a little wilty, looking like they, or any of the greens are kind of getting hit by the heat, fill up your sink, add in it with cold water, add in some ice cubes, and just plunge the greens down in there to let them soak up that cold water, and that can help to revive them. Just know that as soon as you get any of those things wet, if you don't dry them off or cut them up and put them in a salad spinner, that they will start to go quicker in the fridge than normal. So those would be my tips for the items for this week. I am going to be out of town the next 2 weeks, so you might see Alice posting a video for unboxing the video, and I'm also going to do a bonus video for being able to be available for next week to talk a lot more about menu planning and how to figure out how to use up all of these items that you're getting from your CSA. Thanks so much. Hang in there, everyone, and again, thanks to our farmers.